A windrose is a place's whole wind story drawn on one compass circle, where the wind comes from, how often it comes, and how hard it blows when it does. It looks complicated the first time, all petals and rings and shading. It is not. Learn 4 rules in any rose in any pilot book or harbor guide read straight off in seconds. Those 4 rules are what the next few minutes cover. Start with the circle itself. North sits at the top, and the compass is divided into 16 directions from north through north, northeast, northeast, east, northeast, and around. Now, a rule that trips everyone. A windrose shows where the wind comes from, not where it is going. A petal pointing north means a north wind blowing down onto the place from the north. Sailors already think this way because a northerly is named for its origin. The rose simply draws that convention as a picture. Each direction can grow a petal, and the petal's length is the single most useful number on the chart. It is how often the wind blows from that direction. A long petal means that direction is common. A stub means it is rare. No petal at all means the wind almost never comes from there in the period the rose covers. So the eye does the work. The longest petal names the prevailing wind, and at one glance tells you which side of a bay will be sheltered and which will be a lee shore. The petals are measured against rings, and the rings are a percentage scale drawn outward from the center. Each ring is labeled, commonly 5 or 10% per ring. To read a petal, follow it out and see which ring it reaches. A petal touching the 3rd ring on a 5% scale means the wind blows from that direction, about 15% of the time. Always check the scale before trusting the picture, because 2 roses can look identical and mean very different things if one counts by 5 and the other by 10. Now the colors. Each petal is usually built of bands, and each band is a wind speed range, light near the center and strong at the outer end. That turns the petal into a small bar chart of strength. A long petal made mostly of pale inner bands is a direction that blows often but gently, while a shorter petal carrying a dark outer band is the direction that brings the real weather. For a passage plan, the distinction matters more than the prevailing wind itself because it names the direction your anchorage must be protected from. The small circle at the very center is not decoration. It is the calm percentage, the share of hours with no measurable wind, which have no direction to drop. A wide calm center tells them motoring the story, a summer of glassy mornings and afternoon sea breezes. A tiny one says the wind is almost always doing something. The petals plus the calm center account for the whole period, which is a quick way to sanity check a rose you are unsure about. Put it together and the routine takes seconds. First read the period and the scale in the caption, because a July rose and an annual rose describe different worlds. Then find the longest petal for the prevailing wind, glance at the dark outer bands for where the strong weather comes from, and check the calm center for how much of the time nothing blows at all. Say it in one line, mostly northwesterly, around 20% of the time, with the strong winds out of the southwest and calm about 1 hour in 10. That sentence is the rose, and it is enough to choose a season, a route, and an anchorage. Practice is what makes the reading automatic, and that is what the workbook is for. The Windrose Workbook, with the petals, the rings, the shades, and the calm center explained. Then 20 practice roses with drills and complete answer keys. The link is in the description, alongside the rest of the Tower Press Maritime Library. Read the rose before you plan the passage, and the weather stops being a surprise.